What's up, Jammies? What's up, NFC West champion Jammies? Welcome back to another episode of Ricky's Ram Jam presented by Barefoot Wine and wine on tap for everyone today. Coming up soon, Conor Orr will join me to preview the Seahawks and look ahead to the playoffs, but let me break it down a little bit first. Okay, the Rams beat the Cardinals on Saturday night in primetime 13-9. The energy was immaculate at SoFi. Let me read this tweet from JB Long, the voice of the Rams, to you. Quote, in Chris Shula's lifetime, the only Rams defensive coordinator to hold 3 straight opponents to single digits is Chris Shula. That's a really fun fact. The defense was balling out, 2 interceptions and 4 sacks against the Cards. Okay, you know what time it is. Let's do the coin toss. All right, Jammies, hands up if you called option 1 last week. I was an idiot and said 2 sacks for Kyler Murray. Braden Fisk got 2 alone. 4 sacks total for the defense last week, really showing us what's up. Good on them. Okay, for this week, I watched the Coach McVay show with JB Long. If you haven't seen it this week, check it out. Coach talked a lot about kind of what their approach is for the Seahawks game and beyond. I think we are going to see a little bit of Jimmy Garoppolo. So let's do option 1, 2 pass touchdowns from Jimmy G. 2 Jimmy G pass TDs. That would be fun. And then also, we'll give Kyron a little break and let's really kind of give Blake Corum these opportunities. Let's see a Blake Corum touchdown. Okay, option 1 or 2, what's it going to be? Let me know below. All right, joining me now is senior writer from Sports Illustrated, Conor Orr. Conor, how nice is it to not only see me, but hear this beautiful voice of mine over the airs?
It's even more angelic than I remember from our days working together. So it's
Absolutely.
great to see you.
Yeah, this is my Michael Jordan flu game. Made it through Saturday, the primetime game, Sunday, Monday, down and out, and then what a better way to go into the new year than on my deathbed.
Yes, that's it. It's like a symbol of rebirth for 2025.
Absolutely, that's such a positive spin, and that's so great. Speaking of positive spins, how cool was it to watch this team go from 1-4 to ending up as NFC West champs?
Amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about this all the time. Like if you have you just want the best playoff field. And
Right.
the Rams are interesting, right? Because last 3 games were really defensive performances, but before that they were winning shootouts. And to me, they remind me almost like of a higher ceiling Buccaneers at this point. And those are the teams that you want in the playoffs where like anything can happen. And I remember last year talking to some people in that building, and when they started winning at the end of the year and getting close to the playoffs, they were like, if we get in, we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like that was the feeling at that point. And I do believe that. I think that this team has a similar vibe.
I mean, before the trade deadline, many wondered if the Rams would be sellers. What do you think about the decision to stay put, get healthy, and then hunt down a division title?
It never made sense to me to get rid, especially Cooper, right? It never made sense to me to get rid of Cooper because even now, like there are people, and yes, he's on my fantasy team too. But like, it's one of these things that like, well, you just trade him to the Chiefs and everyone will be awesome. But it's like Cooper's super important to everything that they do, and especially when doesn't have the ball in his hands.
Right.
And so that to me was like, you can't get rid of him because if you get rid of him, then what's the point of any of existence, right?
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Right,
but of life, yeah. But no, I thought it was always, if you have Sean, if you have Matt, you're going for it. And I love that attitude,
I mean, Coach McVay is really, he's not going to get, the coach of the year nods, but what he's done with this team, willing them to win in so many different ways. And like you just said it, when you have Matthew, you have Cooper, you have Puka, and you have Coach McVay who has done this, year after year. Like, I think the head coaching job cannot go understated.
Head coaching job, and even in the executive chair, I mean, you have an offensive line with 6th round picks, with 4th round picks, with undrafted free agents who are playing probably, if not as good at or better than probably 90% of the NFL right now. And there are some years where you just get that. Like I remember Chicago a couple of years ago had that, and it's magical, but it's also great coaching and it's great talent identification. And Matt Stafford, when he has a clean pocket, is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's had a clean pocket, thanks to these guys. So I think the whole operation, like, this is one of those good, like, operational years where it's like, yes, like, okay, we don't have Aaron Donald, we don't have, whoever, we've had guys who are hurt, but look at all the cool things we're still doing.
Did you see that video of Aaron Donald like dancing at the TV when the Rams clinched the playoffs? It's my favorite video of all time. Like, he was just so happy.
I got really excited because every year I do 100 predictions, which is far too many, 100 days before the season. And one of them was that the Rams were going to get hot down the stretch, make the playoffs, and Aaron Donald was going to unretire. And when I saw it, I was like, here we go. Like, but, maybe. You still have time, Aaron. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I think I read something that there's like if it's not by week 13, then he has to clear waivers or whatever. Just pay him whatever. Just come back. Just make it happen. Like, this is crazy. I send him so many texts and emails, and like, he just doesn't answer. I don't know if they're going through or what, but he doesn't seem to be too interested.
Just try showing up at his front door. That always works. Yeah,
exactly. Well, his wife is named Erica, so I was like, "Hey, Aaron, like, isn't it cool that like 2 Ericas are super cool?" He was like, "Yeah, what are you talking about?" Like, my first training camp, I was like, "All right, yeah, that didn't work the way I like thought it was gonna, make us like BFFs. It didn't work." But this young defense has been so impressive. I mean, it's a first-year defensive coordinator with Chris Shula. I mean, they've held the last 3 opponents to single digits. Like, this young defense, like, what is most impressive to you about this unit?
So this is one of the few times that I will take issue with, I think PFF does an unbelievable job, and it could just be like when I'm watching, and I go back and I do watch every game, or maybe it's like a visual thing, but like Braden Fisk and Byron Young have been like 2 of my favorite players, and maybe it is like just like one of those things where I turn on the game or my attention's just drawn to them, but I feel like they've been awesome. And I mean, obviously Jared Verse is defensive rookie of the year material, just playing out of his mind.
Braden Fisk might even be too, which is crazy to have 2. Yeah. It's wild.
I agree. And that's what's so fun about this. And, having Chris Shula, having worked his way up through that system, the defensive coordinator job is such a big one for McVay because, he only historically picks guys that would give him fits if he played against them, and would give him trouble. And I think that's such a compliment to Chris, first of all, that he would be able to get that job, but second of all, to do what he did with such a young team. I mean, these guys are fun, and that's what you want in the playoffs, right? Is like, we want to introduce the world to these people, and we want a crazy berserker game where Braden Fisk and Jared Verse have 6 sacks. That's what you want in the playoffs. That's what I want anyway. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all want that. I mean, 13 sacks among rookies, the most in the NFL between those 2, which is crazy. We talked a little bit about Coop, but let's talk a little Puka. He's setting records almost weekly at this point. He's the most receiving yards over a player's first 2 seasons in franchise history for the Rams. I mean, if this guy gets going with what you talked about with Cooper, like, what makes him so, like, unstoppable? Like, he's just so difficult to cover.
Yeah. I think it's 2 things, right? It's the willingness to block and to set yourself up and to get yourself open. And then it's the yards after the catch and how hard you are to bring down. So it's like, I mean, it's almost like having like a baby Marshawn Lynch that's a receiver, I mean, you're you're grinding out yards after the catch, and that it's just a just how coaches say, like, okay, if I run Saquon Barkley 30 times a game or Derrick Henry 30 times a game, it's demoralizing. Well, if Puka Nacua gets 10 touches a game, it's completely demoralizing. Cornerback doesn't want to deal with that. And especially half the time, it's just Puka's hands on you trying to steer you away from a running play. Like, that's just a horrible afternoon for a defensive player. So that's why I love watching him. He's so physical.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's so much fun to watch. The Seahawks come to SoFi on Sunday, and it's an opportunity to get some guys some rest, but also a great opportunity to get some meaningful snaps for some of these other guys. Like, on Sunday, what are you looking forward to seeing from, guys like Jimmy Garoppolo and maybe even Blake Corum, which I'm, like, excited for a Blake Corum touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Absolutely. I mean, this is always like I always find like these are the and we'll see this with Andy Reid too if the Chiefs end up resting their starters too, but this is one of those great like again, like organizational games. Like you remember the Baker game a couple years ago where he shows up on like Wednesday and then wins Thursday night football knowing like 4 plays, you know. And I think that this is one of those things where watching Jimmy light it up is just proof of concept. It's proof of process, right? And you can't sit everybody, but having your backup quarterback come in and win a game against, one of the better defensive coordinators in the NFL, certainly in the division, is like one of those, like, yeah, look at all the things we can do. And it's things that people don't keep an eye on, but I think are really important.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. It's like really, it was a little bit of a nail biter, and it was like to see sort of also give the offense an opportunity to really click too. Like I think everyone hopefully will play like a couple snaps, depending. I'm not sure what's going to go that way, but it'll be fun to have a last game at SoFi before a wild card game at SoFi the following week, which will be great. So I'm excited to see how it all shakes out and who the Rams will take on in the wild card round. Connor, before I let you go, it's time for the Ram Jam, where I ask my guests each the same 3 questions. Describe your perfect day, start to finish.
Oh, I actually had it a couple days ago. It was really nice. Waking up and having like a good cup of coffee.
Nice.
Having like I cleaned off it cleaned up the kitchen a little bit the day before, and you just wake up into like sort of sanity. And
Yeah.
then I would say going to the gym and going swimming and riding the bike. And then that day I also went for a run with one of my best friends and was just
Okay.
outside.
Okay. Chill out.
But that's like, when you're
It's like
old.
I love like having a protein shake and getting
No,
a
it's not
pump
like
on.
that.
Like,
No, I don't lift
and then I went on a
weights.
7-mile run.
I don't like lifting weights. I just like being outside,
Okay. Okay.
or like, riding my
Went for
bike
a little 7-mile hike.
and then coming home and having the rest of the day just to hang out with my kids and listen
Yeah.
to them just talk about whatever because they're ridiculous,
Yeah.
and that's cool,
That's the best.
Yeah.
Which celebrity would you like to switch lives with for one day and why?
This is a good one. I've been thinking a lot about this since I saw your email, and I will say, like, lately, for some reason, my Instagram algorithm has been spammed with a bunch of momfluencers.
Okay.
And like they all have like stealthy secret childcare and like an army of
Yeah.
people that will like do everything for them, and they all have like gigantic homes and like these coffee machines that like probably cost $10,000
Yeah.
and personal trainers. And it's like I wonder what that would be like just for one
Yeah.
day to just be like put on a conveyor belt and just carried across the finish line, like that
Yeah.
would be kind of nice, like a super. And then I get to go on Instagram and be like, I'm better than you at everything, like that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll unpack your algorithm later, I think, offline. Lastly, iced coffee on a snowy day or hot coffee in a heat wave?
Iced coffee 24/7, 365, no matter
My
what,
man.
every day.
Perfect. You're the best. Hey, and jammies out there, we'll start a GoFundMe. Maybe we can get Connor a really nice coffee machine for the new year.
I have one, but these people have, there's stuff that I've never even seen before. I don't know. It blows my mind.
Connor, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'm waiting for you to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated in a bikini next issue.
Talk about things nobody ever wants to see.
Great to see you.
You too.
There he goes. Thanks, Connor, for hanging out. That does it for this week's Ricky's Ram Jam. The Rams are NFC West champs, but that doesn't mean we don't need you all to show up on Sunday to beat the Hawks. Happy New Year, Jammies, and I'll see you Sunday. Until then, let's ram it.